In a city where sirens learned to sing, where glass towers hummed with borrowed light, a tremor ran through the midnight air. Not fear alone, but something bright. From cracked pavement and flickering screens, from hearts taught early how to break, a note rose thin as breath in winter, a sound too fragile not to make. She stood where echoes feared to stay, hands shaking, voice unsure, the world demanding silence. Yet song became her cure. The first note fell, then multiplied, a spark within her chest. As rhythm answered hidden pain she'd never once confessed. Sound bent metal, time stood still, armor bloomed in radiant flame, forged from loss and melody, from every whispered name. Not steel alone, but memory, not power born of hate. Each lyric carried forward every doubt she'd ever faced. She remembered nights of whispered dreams, of headphones pressed too tight, practicing beneath street lamps, until morning stole the night. Every failure lived inside the song, every almost gave up breath, now stitched into protection, against the pull of death. The noise descended, formless dread, static claws, devouring hue, but music carved the dark apart, and showed what hope could do. She sang and struck, and sang again, each heartbeat synced in time, a solo turning into proof that fear could be outshined. Across the city, voices stirred, other hearts began to hear, different songs, different scars, yet drawn by something clear. A dancer carved her truth in air, steps sharp as broken glass, a singer whose resolve was fire, from futures she'd outlast. One carried grief she never named, one carried rage restrained, one sang for joy she feared to lose. Three souls in strain, they met not as perfection made, but fragments learning form. Three melodies in search of one, before the coming storm. Their harmonies clashed, then learned to blend, sharp edges worn to gold, until the silence between their notes was brave enough to hold. They learned the weight of listening, of standing through another's pain. That strength was not in louder notes, but in the will to remain. Together they stood where worlds collide, neon bleeding into sky, as crowds below never knew how close hope came to die. The battle rose in waves of sound, each chorus hit like flame. The noise recoiled, the night recoiled, nothing would stay the same. Yet even victory rang too sharp, for something still felt wrong. A harmony unfinished, a missing note in song. From shattered towers, quiet and cold, a darker voice took shape, a melody born of isolation, of power paid in ache. She wore her sorrow like a crown, her rhythm slow and bare, each note a wall around her heart, each breath a silent prayer. She sang of being left behind, of shining never seen, of watching others rise and soar, from somewhere in between. Their songs collided mid-air, light cracking against despair, two truths screaming for the right, to claim the future there. The clash split sound itself apart, the city holding breath, as harmony and loneliness stood trembling close to death. For every note of pain she sang, they answered back with care, not drowning out her suffering, refusing to look away. They lowered blades and softened stance, let voices carry first, a risk no weapon ever took, a courage almost cursed. The music slowed, then widened still, a bridge no one had planned, a harmony wide enough to take her trembling hand. Armor shattered, voices broke, tears fell like rain in tune, and in that fragile quiet, the dawn arrived too soon. The city breathed, the noise was gone, the sky relearned its blue. Three singers stood, exhausted, real, unsure of what they knew. They felt the weight of what remained, the cost of every song, that saving worlds does not erase what carried them along. Yet somewhere deep in watching hearts, a spark began to glow, that even in the loudest dark, a song can help you grow. Not idols born of distant stars, but voices cracked and true, singing not to rule the world, just to help it through. They left the stage without farewell, without a perfect close, knowing every ending leaves a silence it bestows. And when the night again returns, as nights are bound to do, the song will wait in trembling chests, ready to break through. Because as long as one voice dares to rise instead of run, the battle's never truly lost, the symphony's begun.